How can I manifest $1 million worth of value and sell it for $10?
A lot of what's in Alex Hermosi's $100 million offers is big inspiration from you, private conversations you've had, stuff you've helped him with. I think it's become more common knowledge in the last 3 years that like offers are the game. In fact, I remember personally there was like a 5 year period where I would go to like whatever mastermind or whatever I was in, or conference or whatever. I would ask the most successful person, how do you do it? And they would always tell me it was the offer, but nobody could tell me how they actually came up with those offers. It was like I knew it was the offer, it was the linchpin piece. I would love to hear for you just, our super basic but easy to understand definition of what an offer is, because I think especially in our agency world, a lot of people think their deliverable is their offer. I do SEO, I do Facebook ads, I do web design. That's my offer. And no, it's not. But I would love to hear just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, you have time, you have money, and you have energy. And those are the three things that you invest, both on the seller side and on the buyer side. So the seller wants to spend the least amount of time, money, and effort to make the most amount of time. They want to sell the most product with the least amount of effort. And the buyer, they want to spend the least amount of money in the least amount of time and the least amount of effort. So it's funny because they're somewhat adversarial. Where we meet in the middle is a buyer or a seller gets very creative. How can I manifest $1 million worth of value and sell it for $10? Now I have an offer that to the market, it's overvalued compared to the price that we put into it. But you see, here's a crazy thing, Frankie. The price is the least important part of an offer.
Yeah.
If I show you how to get from New York to LA and the answer is walk, because you don't have to buy a plane ticket, nobody's going to do that. First of all, you spend too much time and pain. That's the effort part of it. Second of all, it ends up costing you more money because then you stop in the hotel rooms, you buy new shoes, right? You eat at places you wouldn't normally eat at. And so usually saving the money is the least effective way that you can construct an offer. More effective is if you save people time than money. The most effective part about an offer, and this is what people don't get, is the energetic force that is required to get the value from the offer. So, uh, Frankie, you would have to pay me a lot of money for me to want to hang out in a spreadsheet for an hour. Like, I mean,
I second that. I feel you on
you
that
would
one.
have to pay me a hell. So my rate for consulting is $3,500 an hour, and I enjoy it. And by the way, that price is too low, but I can make that a deal because it's so fun for me. So the energetic force that is required to deliver that value to the clientele that I deliver it to is minimal. But if it was an hour of me teaching spreadsheets, I'd have to charge $50,000 for the hour because the energy that I'd have to psych myself up to show up in a way that I could justify it, the cost would be too high, right? So a lot of people, when they sell offers, they do not take into account the effort the buyer has to put in order to get the value. And
Mhm.
that's the first thing that we start at with an offer. We try to have the buyer spend the least amount of effort and time in order to get the result that they want. And the better we do that, A, the more we can charge, which is great, but B, the more they're happy to pay it. Because what we're trying to do here is make the cost of not buying higher than the cost of buying. And that's where we start at with the offer. So that's very high level. We have formulas, structures, components. We can do deep dive analysis into any and all of those areas. But I think where people miss the boat from the beginning, Frankie, is I don't care what you sell the thing for. If I have to work really hard to extract the value out of it, it's not a good deal for me. And this is why people that try to give away free trials of software realize that it's impossible because it's not the software. Then I have to learn it as a user. I have to understand the interface.
Yeah.
I have to start from scratch and build my way up and just
Yeah.
consider that for every offer that anybody does. And then you can oftentimes see the problem with a lot of these offers is it's not the price and it's not even the time, it's the effort involved to get the value out of it.
Yeah, I love that you said that because I feel like in our space in particular, a lot of the offers are like are what I call the undefined more. So just like more leads, more sales, and more customers. And usually if you're a beginner internet marketer and you're just trying to, make those first couple of sales consistently, that sounds very appealing to you because you're very money focused. But to say you're talking to a plumbing guy who's got, a crew of 40 guys in 3 locations and already has too much work, what he
Yep.
wants is less, right? He doesn't want, like, he's already juggling 20 plates too many. And so I love that you brought up this energetic component. Wonder if you could just do a little deeper dive there, because I feel like
Yep.
the money part is the most obvious thing to people, but the least obvious part is the one you mentioned, is the energy. Like, how do
Yeah.
you actually make it easier for them to do it? Where, like you said, it almost makes more sense for them. Like, it's almost stupid for them not to pay you because it's just easier to get you to do it. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about, like, because you've done this not just in like your own offers or one or two industries. You've done like 80 bazillion webinars for all kinds
Yeah.
of people selling coaching, expertise and all those packages. I wonder if you could talk
Yep.
a little bit about where you start with that kind of energetic piece, which I feel like is the hidden piece that like not enough people kind of just easily identify.
Yeah, it starts with risk. You ever heard this saying that if you knew you could do anything and you would never fail, then what would you do? Like it's a very common personal development, often used in woo-woo settings. It's very powerful. Or the other version of that is if you could wave a magic wand and already have the result, what result would you wish for? These are great thought experiments because oftentimes people will censor themselves from what they really want because as soon as they dream about the outcome, they find ways in which it can't work. And your prospects are exactly that. What we need to do is eliminate the risk of failure. Now, so here's a crazy little thought experiment, Frankie. I don't play the lottery because I don't like the odds.
Yeah.
They're like 1 billion to 1 or whatever the
Yeah,
case
I
may
don't think
be.
very many entrepreneurs are investing in the "I'll win the lottery" as the life wealth plan anyway.
Yeah, so let's say the jackpot is $1 billion. I wouldn't play the lottery even then because the odds were not good. If you said, Jason, I'll increase the jackpot to 10 billion, would you play? I said no. They said, Jason, I'll increase it to infinity, would you play? And I would say no because the odds suck, right?
Yeah.
Now here's what's crazy, Frankie. If you say, listen, a ticket costs $1. If you win, you only get $1.01 back. That's your upside. Not a billion anymore, 1 penny upside. But your odds are 51%. Jason, would you now play the lottery? Not only would I play the lottery, I would build a machine that could buy tickets for me so I can play the lottery 1 million times a day. Now,
Yeah.
I've eliminated 99.9% plus of the upside, but I've completely eliminated the downside.
Mhm.
And that more than anything is what makes an offer incredible. It's not that we increase the potential gain, it's that we decrease the risk of failure, the risk of looking like an idiot, the risk of embarrassment, the risk of shame, the risk of reinforcing some sort of impoverished identity and feeling that somebody has about themselves or about their life. So when we start looking at an offer, that's the most powerful energetic force, by the way, is that. So we say, how can we remove the biggest excuse that would stop somebody from buying this thing? And that's where we go to war. We attack that. We try to figure that out. How do we eliminate as much of the downside as possible? And I'm willing to get rid of a ton of the upside if we can get rid of even more of the downside. And that's very different than how most people do offers, Frankie, because they're focused so much on the addition,
Yeah.
not on the subtraction. Yeah.
Hey guys, if you like this video, you may also like my best-selling book here, Beyond the Agency Box. It is all about scaling a digital marketing agency while eliminating meetings and phone calls. We actually sell our stuff phoneless. We don't have any client meetings, and we also hire our team entirely without meeting phone calls, which allows us to, like actually kind of live a life. I've laid out the entire blueprint in everything you need to know, getting clients, onboarding, setting expectations, scaling, building a team, you name it. It has been a bestseller on Amazon now for over 5 straight years, but now you can get it even cheaper than you can get it on Amazon. So I can't tell you the exact price because it may change when this video is released, but there should be a link to it below, either in the description of the video or as well as a pinned comment. So if you're interested in that, check out that video and you can get a copy for super cheap.